BlackRock Real Assets has bought New Zealand-based solarZero to help with scale and growth, both here and overseas. To explain all the ins and outs, solarZero founder and chief executive Andrew Booth and BlackRock's Charlie Reid are both with us. Well, first to you, Charlie. What attracted you to solarZero?
So we represent at BlackRock Climate Infrastructure long-term institutional investors who are looking for a combination of things. They're looking for investments that deliver attractive returns, but they're also looking to make a social impact. When we look at solarZero has a unique business model that delivers three key things. Firstly, they help New Zealanders reduce their carbon footprint. Second of all, they help New Zealanders reduce their electricity bills. And finally, solarZero's technology helps support New Zealand's grid at a critical time. So is this business model combined with solarZero's management team that attracted us this opportunity?
How much have you paid for the company?
So I can't disclose the purchase price. What I can disclose is that we're committing over $100 million to help scale the business, both domestically and internationally.
What's that money going to be used for? Employing more staff, more technology?
So a combination of more staff, but also installing the equipment on New Zealand homes and buildings.
You're saying this will help fast-track New Zealand's renewable energy uptake. How do you plan to do that?
So first of all, I think with the additional capital that solarZero will receive, the company should be able to move more quickly to help scale up from its current 8,500 households on which it operates, with a target of reaching 100,000 over time. So I think that will be a meaningful contribution to New Zealand reaching its net zero targets.
How long have you been keeping an eye on solarZero?
So for some time, we in Asia Pacific for BlackRock Climate Infrastructure, we've invested across a range of markets from Korea to Taiwan, Japan, Australia. We've been looking to enter the New Zealand market for the past 2 to 3 years. We recognized at an early stage that solarZero was a leader in the field, and so have been tracking their progress, and so delighted to be able to make this announcement today.
Yeah, how are you hoping to scale up internationally with this company?
Yeah, so if you look across the Asia Pacific region, first of all, Asia Pacific is the key region in the battle against climate change. It already represents 40% of all rooftop solar installed. That number is only going to increase. And if you look at the amount of investment required over the coming decades, it's several $1 trillion in rooftop solar and smart batteries alone. So we target expanding solarZero into Australia, which is a natural fit, but also into the other markets where we have a deep presence, such as South Korea, Taiwan. I think one of the benefits that we hope solarZero will achieve through this transaction is the network of sister portfolio companies that it's joining both in Asia Pacific and globally that can help export New Zealand talent and New Zealand's technology in solarZero to become a true global leader.
In terms of market share, currently in New Zealand, you say you've got about 40%. What's your aspirational goal?
Yeah, I think that if you look internationally, service models of our nature traditionally end up sort of controlling around 75% from a market share perspective. We've seen that in the US market, in particular, service models where customers essentially don't have to make a capital commitment, but can accelerate their contribution to decarbonisation internationally. It's a significant advantage from a commercial perspective, but also from a transformational perspective for companies here in New Zealand.
Andrew, also while I've got you there, what does this deal mean for you and the staff within solarZero?
I think it's a fantastic opportunity to be part of as Charlie said, a network of companies across the region collaborating to try and accelerate the region's roadmap really to decarbonisation. I think that at this particular juncture where it's the next 2 to 3 years are pretty critical, having the capital and the financial muscle to really stand behind governments and corporations and consumers who want to be part of that change and enable and unlock that ability to step forward and stand up to the challenge ahead of us is going to be quite central to our ability to move forward.
You plan to stay on?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I'm quite an old fella, but my perspective is that we've got 7 years to make sure that my grandkids have a great place and a great planet to live on. So I'm absolutely committed to working alongside Charlie and the team to make sure that we deliver on the promises we've made to our teams and our customers, and more importantly now to the international community as we start to try and address the climate challenge.
You say you're Auckland based. Do you need to set up any offices around the country to help meet that?
Yeah, we already have offices in the main metros here in New Zealand, but the biggest contribution at a community level is the fact that we have 45 companies across the country that install systems at a community level. So we have a model which, from a social enterprise perspective, means that we back those companies first and foremost to help us deliver our service confidently and successfully and safely into those markets. So backing Kiwi businesses here at that level, absolutely central to our strategy going forwards. We didn't get here on our own, and certainly as we start to scale here in New Zealand and internationally, the backbone of that scaling will be community-based electrical and trades businesses.
Are you targeting households, or are you also looking at getting into businesses as well?
Yeah, we already have substantial backing from the government's Green Investment Finance Corp to explore how we can scale commercial and industrial assets and across schools across New Zealand. So yeah, that sort of roadmap is well sort of trod already from a commercial perspective for us. So essentially what we're doing is building a virtual power station which connects together commercial industrial assets with residential assets and allows us to build a new way to power the nation.
Because the time is ticking, isn't it? Is this deal come at the right time?
I think the deal has come at the perfect time from a climate and from an energy transition perspective. The government here has made a strong commitment across the region and in many respects is leading the way in Asia Pacific with its commitment to renewables. So it's come at the right time for us and the right time for the country, I believe.